cover you. Roger, roger. Roger, roger.
Hello and welcome to a Battle.Droid.Bricks review. Today in this video we will be discussing Vader's TIE Advanced versus the A-Wing Starfighter, set number 75150. This includes 702 pieces and 2 main builds, as well as being recommended for ages 9 through 14. The 2 main builds we will be talking about are the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing Starfighter with green colors, as well as Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Mark I. This is a Star Wars Rebels based set and comes with Star Wars Rebels type characters. On the top of the box shown here are our 4 characters actually. 3 of them are considered to be new and exclusive, although this Darth Vader is also new and exclusive. It doesn't have that blue aura surrounding it to show off that it is more sort of a new exclusive figure. A similar Darth Vader was released in the 2015 set Death Star Final Duel, although this Darth Vader has different printing to match how it looks in Star Wars Rebels. We also get Grand Moff Tarkin in his Star Wars Rebels appearance, as well as Sabine Wren in Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, and a Phoenix Squadron A-Wing pilot. It can also be shown right here. Now, on the back of the box, which is, I believe, the more interesting part to look at, has all sorts of different views of the A-Wing and Darth Vader's TIE Advanced that I'll be looking through very quickly. It shows off the cockpit and the folding wings, as well as the missiles and the landing gear. And I like this picture on the back that shows all 4 characters kind of in a battle scene with the vehicles landing, as well as their orthographic views of the 2 vehicles on the upper right hand corner. This set's box art takes place on Lothal, on the back here, the Lothal Plains, and on the front I would have to assume it's the Lothal Orbit when Darth Vader is attacking the Phoenix Squadron command ship. Now let's get on to the minifigures. Real quickly, before I talk about the minifigures, I want to talk about the instruction manual. We get 2 instruction manuals in this set, which is, it makes sense, but it's not seen very often nowadays anymore. One instruction manual is based mainly or completely around building the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing, while the other instruction manual is based completely around Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. The first 3 bags, or the first booklet, go towards the complete construction of the A-Wing Starfighter. As you can see here, bag 1 builds kind of the underside and all of that, as well as both of our minifigures. If I can find where bag 2 starts. Bag 2 continues to build on the I guess the main part of the A-Wing Starfighter is building on the sides and the top and all that. And as you can probably guess, bag 3 completes the A-Wing Starfighter, shown right here. We get the guns and the cockpit and the engines. Now in the other bag, or other booklet, this is mainly based around Darth Vader's TIE Advanced, as well as we get to build Darth Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin. The first bag is kind of similar to the first bag of the other build, which is the undercarriage and kind of the just starting to build the skeleton of the set here. And here, this is the complete fuselage, or complete Starfighter basically, except for the wings, and the final bag is the completed Starfighter. I want to show you some of the advertisements before we get into this set. We have some other promotional pictures of the A-Wing and the TIE Fighter. They look very nice. As well as kind of like pictures of most of the minifigures released in the summer 2016 wave. I think the ones that aren't pictured here would be the Inquisitor and the Stormtrooper, as well as all the figures in the new clone turbo tank. I could be wrong though. These are all promotional pictures of most of the summer wave sets as well. And we have the typical LEGO product feedback survey thing that's on the back of practically every instruction manual. Now onto the minifigures. Alright, so first up we're going to talk about the Imperial minifigures. Here I have Darth Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin positioned right in front of the TIE Advanced. Both of these are technically new figures, although LEGO has only really considered Grand Moff Tarkin to be the only new one of these two Imperial minifigures. Anyway, here we'll talk about Darth Vader. This is the second Darth Vader made with the new two-piece head mold so that he can have part of his helmet on if you take the helmet off, just like what happens in Return of the Jedi. His printing is slightly different than that of the one released in Death Star Final Duel last year. It's kind of supposed to represent a more cartoony look, or how he looked in Star Wars Rebels. He also comes with a red lightsaber, and he has the black soft cape. I really like the new capes because they're, like I said, they're very soft, they don't crinkle, and you can flip them up to neatly reveal back printing, which I will do right now. It's nothing really too special, but it's still nice to be able to easily, and plus it just looks all around nicer, so like you can make the cape look like that, so if like Darth Vader is running towards somebody, a rebel trooper, to, you know, get him, his cape can kind of flow with the wind. One more thing is that his head is the same one that came in Death Star Final Duel. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, to be honest, because in Star Wars Rebels, he doesn't really show any remorse towards anybody, where this face is appropriate towards Luke in Return of the Jedi, when he throws the Emperor off the shaft thing. So his kind of like more positive looking face, I don't think that's that appropriate. I think the 2014 Vader head would have been a lot more appropriate. Anyway, here we'll talk about Grand Moff Tarkin now. This is a new figure. Grand Moff Tarkin has printing based off of how most of the Imperial officers look in Star Wars Rebels. They have this tan uniform and all that. This is, I believe, the same hairpiece that they used for one of the Doctor Who sets. I'm not sure if this face is new, but this is dual-sided face. He has no leg printing, but he does have a lot of badges, as you can see there. He also comes with a blaster pistol. Now, I will show you the other face. If I can get right in the camera. So it's kind of just like a kind of surprised but kind of disgusted look, and his other look is like just a generic, like something that really fits Grand Moff Tarkin, because he never really looks happy or anything. I mean, his boss is probably the worst boss ever, being the Emperor, so his subordinates would probably not be very happy looking either. Anyway, these are both great Imperial Leader minifigures, and they both go very nicely with this TIE Advanced. Alright, so now we are on the Rebel Alliance minifigures, or it could be considered a Rebel Cell at this point in the Star Wars universe. Here we have Sabine Wren in her Season 2 apparel, and a Phoenix Squadron A-Wing pilot. Sabine Wren comes with a new hair look, or hair color. It's like green and bluish, and also new armor and whatnot, new armor printing. She gets the same weapons, 2 commando pistols, or 2 of the newer style commando pistols, not necessarily like ones in the Clone Wars. She has the same head as the last Sabine, so the same two sides of her head, which I will show you right now. So one's kind of like a smirk and the other one's kind of like an angry wince sort of thing. Anyway, that is a completely new figure. She does not come with a helmet. This is the Phoenix Squadron A-Wing pilot, and I really like this figure, although the printing is very minimal. This is a new variation of that A-Wing pilot helmet, as you can see right here. It's got very nice coloring and detail to it all around it. Excuse my fingers. I don't want that to be in the show too much. Anyway, the printing is also kind of minimal, but I like this kind of color because normally Rebel pilots are like a bright red or bright orange or something. Anyway, she also comes with a blaster pistol, which is nice because I like when pilots at least come with a gun, even though they're probably not doing much on foot shooting. There's the back printing, and she comes with two faces too. These faces are basically the same as the ones that come on Torn Far in the UCS Assault on Hoth set. So there's kind of like a regular happy face, and it's kind of like a confused, or I don't know, maybe like Imperials on our tail face. I'm not sure how you would describe that. Alright, so that's that, and now we're going to talk about the A-Wing. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the A-Wing Starfighter, or as I like to call it, the A-Wing Interceptor, because it's more of a lighter spacecraft and doesn't really do nearly as much damage as, say, an X-Wing or a B-Wing, which I would consider are Starfighters. Anyway, here's sort of the scale between a minifigure and the A-Wing. I think it's pretty appropriate sized, but I don't know what I was going to say. Anyway, it does fit one minifigure, which we will put the pilot in. But before that, I want to show off the landing gear, which is kind of a nice feature. So under here we have these three like knob-like things. And you can just push them all back, and that's the landing gear in a nutshell, really. Now, we also have these sort of engine compartments, which are probably the most accurate engines to an A-Wing model to date, or Lego A-Wing model to date. One thing I don't kind of like is how they kind of like fold up like this. So it kind of makes it look like another ship altogether, really, when you fold them up. But I understand why they fold up, because of the building technique behind it. Basically, you're putting these on those hooks right there. And there's that. The laser cannons also move up and down, but they don't have any sort of missiles or anything completely attached on them. And there's also a lot of nice stickers. I like the sticker detailing on this ship a lot more than the previous A-Wing. Anyway, let's put the person in the Starfighter now. Alright, so basically, you're going to open this up like this, and you get a nice, roomy cockpit for this sort of size vehicle. There's a control panel that's a sticker right there. And there's also a little compartment right there that I like to put the pilot's gun. So I'll show you how I do this. So I just kind of sit the handgun like that, and then you have to seat the pilot in. We're gonna put her happy face on, because why wouldn't you want to be happy when you are piloting a craft like this? Am I doing this right? Yes, I am. Alright. Oh, yeah. The arms kind of have to be held up like that when you bend her backward because it kind of runs into some studs and whatnot, so you just fold it in like that. Anyway, the main feature of this build, which I really like, is the launching missiles that are underneath it, and they're very, very well hidden. And this entire like central compartment area, you can push back some like this. Well, that wasn't all the way, and it launches 2 missiles. So here's it kind of looks more traditional A-wing with this a little bit farther behind these. And you push that back, and never mind, folks. Don't put the handgun in right there because I can't believe this. When you push this back, it has that little opening right there, and the handgun must have fallen out like that. Anyway, we'll put the person back in there. Okay. Come on, lady. There we go. These are, well, they're not really that new, but they're the newer spring missiles. And one more thing I want to show you about this is that if you do this mechanism, but at like very slowly, you can launch one and then launch the other. So it's kind of like on a track system that makes one launch first before the other. I like that. They also did that in the ion cannon in the Assault on Hoth set, but I don't think this one is nearly as intricate as the Assault on Hoth. Anyway, let's talk about the TIE Advanced now. Alright, so this is the TIE Advanced. I think it's also scaled very well to go with minifigures. It's not really that big when you compare it to other TIE fighters. It's kind of disappointing in a sense, but it alone, by itself, it seems like a very full and well-designed craft, really. I'll probably do a video comparing this to other TIE fighters soon, but by itself you can truly appreciate it, but with other TIE fighters it's kind of like, really? This is kind of underwhelming and small, really. Alright, so like most other TIE fighters, you can only fit one person in this. But before we get into the cockpit, I want to show you some of the wings and whatnot. All this right here and that's basically all the stickers you put on this. The rest of this is printing, so the windshield piece and the cockpit and these little things that they put on, little tile pieces they put on like every TIE fighter ever made by Lego. One of the features, which I don't really care for, but I guess it's a feature, is that you can fold these wings. So now it looks more like classic TIE Fighter-ish, but honestly it looks lame. Or it looks kind of like Micro Fighter cartoony or chibi-ish looking. Anyway, let's move Grand Moff Tarkin out of the way here. Obviously the main feature of this set is that you can put Darth Vader in it, or this build I mean. And we'll show you the cockpit right now. This folds up and this folds out. This is a little thing I like to take off to give a better view of the inside of this ship. I do that for a lot of my pictures too. Anyway, he just sits in there. There's no studs. You just need to fold his legs some. And then this is like a droid body that they seem to use for TIE fighters lately as a control thing. Anyway, I'll put that back on and we will see Darth Vader in his TIE Advanced. Sorry, I know it's not really exciting to see my hand. Anyway, this is kind of how he sits in there. The cape doesn't get scrunched up like the normal capes do because this is the new soft cape, so you can kind of bend it a lot and it doesn't really mess up or anything. Anyway, he has a lot of room in there. I think more room than the TIE Advanced prototype, but definitely more room than the original, or the 2012 TIE Fighter, as a comparison. This also has 2 spring missiles. They can be activated by hand down here, which is kind of boring, because that's basically what every other set with spring missiles does. But this also has a sort of gear mechanism, where you push these 2 like Technic rod things down and they push against the backs of the missiles. So I was aiming for Grand Moff Tarkin right there, but that missile went off. You also get, like, I'm gonna say 2 spare missiles in this set. So like 6 red missiles in total, which is kind of nice. You also get an orange brick separator, which is in my room right now, and I don't really feel like pausing the video just to show it to you. I'm sure if you collect Lego, you have at least 5. I've got like a ton as of right now. Alright, so when I come back, we are going to talk about the set as a whole. Alright, so now talking about this set as a whole, in summation, I think this is probably the best set they released in the summer, to be honest. I think in total, as time goes by, the sets are getting better. Like better structure, better play features, and all that other stuff. It's just we're getting less minifigures. I think that's an okay trade, especially because minifigures are kind of expensive to make. More so than traditional Lego bricks, because traditional Lego bricks you just put on one another. Minifigures you gotta make all the hands and all the other stuff. Anyway, I have them all in kind of poses here. These probably weren't the best poses because of the shadow, especially with Darth Vader. I think all of the figs are great. I just don't really care for there being only 4 minifigures. I would have liked if there was a minimum of 5 for this set. I mean, sets can always have more minifigures. There's rarely a set that I have that I feel has an appropriate amount of minifigures outside of battle packs or microfighters or something. I would have liked just a generic Star Wars Rebels style Rebel Trooper to go with this. That way it seems kind of more fair, like Sabine and a pilot and a trooper against Darth Vader. Grand Moff Tarkin probably doesn't do much fighting. The vehicles are really, really awesome. Like, spectacular. Like, some of the best Starfighters I own, really. This is, like, hands down my favorite system scale TIE Fighter, and this is my favorite system scale Rebel Fighter. I like all the sticker detailing. I'm not really one to complain about stickers, although sometimes I put stickers on wrong and they end up looking crappy. But I think I did an okay job with these. Another thing I don't like about this A-Wing is kind of how cheap and generic looking the lasers are. The ones on the past A-Wing were kind of, even though they were flick missiles, they were kind of a variant, or there was more than one type of cannon going on there. I don't like how the engines fold, but when you're in landing mode, I guess there's a way to escape that, really. With this, there's nothing I don't like about it, this TIE Advanced, as by itself. So, like, it's great by itself, but if you put it with, you know, your other TIE fighters or your Imperial fleet and all that, it just looks kind of meh. Like, wow, that's really small compared to the 2012 regular TIE fighter or even the TIE Advanced prototype of last year. I was surprised to see how small it was compared to them. And I think this ship probably has more pieces than the TIE Advanced prototype. Which makes me think, well, if this is $90, which by the way, this is $90, I forget if I said that at the beginning, I should have, then why is the TIE Advanced worth $40 by itself if you can get, this by itself looks like it'd be about $40, and that looks like it'd be about $30, so you're putting $20 in minifigures, which I guess that's getting into how expensive Lego is, even though this set's $90, and I think, personally, this should have been worth $70, but I'm willing to pay $90 because the minifigures are great, and this is the best summer 2016 set, in my opinion. I get a lot of play out of this because you get 2 ships, whereas most Lego sets are just one big thing, or one thing really, and sometimes they have a little side add-on like an escape pod or something little and quirky like that. So that's all I really have to say. I'd highly recommend getting this set. Like, I give it a 9 out of 10. I honestly think this is a must-have, especially if you don't have Death Star Final Duel. That way you can get that new looking Darth Vader. This is also the first Grand Moff Tarkin in like forever. The last one was using a generic hairpiece and it didn't really look that great, but you know, I want to say 10 years later we've got a highly superior looking Grand Moff Tarkin. I just would have liked a more gray outfit instead of this tan Imperial Star Wars Rebels Imperial Officer look. I really like the looks of these ladies. The Season 2 Sabine is awesome. I wish we would have got a helmet, especially for $90. Maybe we should have gotten her new looking helmet, but what can you do? This A-Wing pilot is also pretty great. I think it's a welcome addition to any Rebels collection, or Rebel Alliance, or just Star Wars Rebels collection. It's one of the first generic Rebels that we've gotten, because most of them were named. They were the Ghost Crew, or like Wolf Waro, or some named character, so it's nice to finally get some like grunt troopers for the Rebels, and not just the Galactic Empire. Anyway, I'll have more videos coming out soon. I'm going to be doing reviews at least weekly, and I'm trying to build up a YouTube channel, so all comments and likes and whatnot would be highly valued, especially subscriptions. If you'd like to leave a comment on what sets you'd like me to review next, I'll take them into consideration. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram, where I do most of my posting. Thank you for watching again, and have a great day.
Corporal will cover you. Roger, roger. Roger, roger.